Just want to make an update on the 900 LED red light therapy cap for hair loss, hair stimulation. I made a video of this a couple of months ago and just wanted to give you an update. This is a 900 LED red light therapy cap. You could see various versions of these sold online, and I just want to warn you that not all of them are the same. They have different types of LEDs, different numbers of LEDs. The one that I sell on my site, Advanced Physiotherapeutics, has 900 chipsets, which means that each LED emitter has 5 wavelength emitters. It's got emitters for 630 and 660 nanometer wavelengths. Nanometers 1 times 10 to the negative 9 meters. Visible red is the wavelength that the studies show has the photobiomodulation effect. This is not heat. This is photon therapy that goes in there and causes the mitochondria and various cell structures to increase their metabolic rate. So they increase cell signaling. This is a desired outcome in conditions where the cells are like weak or sick or slow or in a dormant state. The red light photon energy goes in there and causes them to wake up, basically. So that's 630 to 660 nanometers. Then it's got chipsets that generate 780, 850, and 940 nanometer wavelengths. So this is near infrared, and that is more along the lines of heat. It penetrates deeper, 10 to 20 millimeters below the surface of the skin, and it generates mild heat, which is good for circulation. And red blood cells deliver oxygen to the cells. So what cells are we talking about? We're talking about these cells in your hair follicle, the cells that secrete the keratin that make the hair. And if you could stimulate those, then some good things can happen if you're experiencing hair loss. Here's the cap. It's got the LEDs. It comes with a controller. You put the cap on, you turn it on, and the top button here is the power button. It goes up to 5. Okay, if you can see that. If you press the power button again, you'll switch over to mode. That's 10 hertz, 10 flashes per second. Press it again, that's 40 flashes per second. Press it again, that's called the breathing mode. It's like kind of like the Christmas lights. All right. And then press it again and it's off. So let's turn it on again. And then this button here is the duration. I always do 30 minutes, the full amount. And the button here, I usually don't touch because it lets you cycle through the different wavelengths that I mentioned. So you can just leave that one alone. So I've got it on level 5 for 30 minutes. You put it on your head and let it penetrate deep into the follicles and into the microcirculation. So a thing about hair loss that you should know is that a lot of it is pretty much genetically determined. There's male pattern baldness. These are the people who have very definitive areas like receding hairlines, or the dome that just gets loses more hair until you're left with the sides. That's more an inherited trait. And then the other type of hair loss is like general hair loss, where it just comes out mostly. It starts at the crown, but it thins out. That's the kind that I have. It's not really a pattern. It's just you just lose hair. And it affects women too, but it's mostly men because it's tied to testosterone levels as well. Hair follicles go dormant for a while, and in doing so, hair falls out, and they don't produce hair, and it may do that for a couple of months, and then they come back to life and start producing the hair. As you go through your decades, the amount of keratin, by the way, keratin is the same substance that makes your nails. Your nails and your hair are made of the same thing. Each decade that passes, as those hair follicles secrete the keratin, the diameter of your hair gets smaller. So it's secreting the keratin to make the hair, but not as much. And the hair is thinner, skinnier, so it'll show more scalp. I've started to be more serious in the last 2 months where I do it every night for about 30 minutes. Just bear in mind, these pictures here are based on an average of like doing it once every other day. My conclusion is that there may have been a little bit of new hair regrowth. I think the strength, at least for me, is that it, number one, stopped more hair from falling out, and number two, thickened the hairs that are remaining. As far as growing hair on the bald spots, maybe there was a little bit of that happening, but I still see that I have bare areas there. But zooming into the picture, I noticed that the hairs are thicker. Bottom line, I'd say the verdict is that if you're concerned about losing your hair, having your hair thin as you get older, this is a good investment to have. It could at least push that time back so that you could retain most of your natural hair in your later years and have that existing hair be thicker. Between that and reducing the amount that falls out, I think that's a good alternative to not doing anything. If you're interested in checking out the red light therapy cap, just visit my website at Advanced Physiotherapeutics. The link is here and also in the descriptions, and I've pinned it in the comments. So give it a try and let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.